Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar, Digital Outlook 2022, organized by ClickInsights with contributions from expert marketers, brands, agencies, and technology vendors. My name is Jeff Rajek. I'm the chief editor at ClickInsights, and for those of you wondering, ClickInsights offers a number of services, such as research reports, lead generation, training, and consulting. Anyone who wants to find out more, you can find us at the blog address there, to contact us there, or you can email us at teamsg@clickacademyasia.com. Today, we are going to talk about our latest report, Digital Marketing Trends and Predictions 2022. Now, while I will be going through the highlights of this report and taking you through a few of the trends, I will also be joined by a host of other marketers and business leaders that I mentioned earlier, and they're from corporates and agencies, technology vendors, then they're responsible for marketing throughout Asia Pacific. Today's program, first of all, I'll talk about digital advertising. We'll cover Google, but specifically for marketing, social commerce, chat for customer experience, and then we'll finish off with artificial intelligence. But all through the presentation, we will have contributions from our panel of experts. So first off today, digital advertising. And our first trend will be that ad spending on social media is likely to increase in 2022. Now this data that we have about this trend comes from Hootsuite, who in their Social Trends 2022 report indicate that due to a rise in short form video, such as the TikTok type of video, social media ad spending will grow by 20% in 2022 to nearly $25 billion globally. Now, because of this increase in spending, consumers are now more likely to discover new brands, products, and services on social media than just about anywhere else. And so, getting your brand on social media using this short form effective video is one of the top trends for 2022, something that you need to take a little bit more time and check it out. The next trend for digital advertising is that the need for data will be immense for marketing campaigns. Now, this comes from the fact that marketers are going to be facing a bit of a crisis in 2022. Now, while the need for data will be immense, yes, for marketing campaigns, useful data about your consumers is going to be harder to get. Now, the reason for this and the crisis are that there are a bunch of new privacy protections put in place by Apple and many of the other sort of client-facing technology products. And what they do is they hide user data, the user data that we've used for so long to figure out who the people are who visit our sites and use our apps. And so it will make it more difficult for brands to know what else that their site visitors are doing elsewhere on the internet. So we used to be able to build audiences very easily out of people who were, say, shopping for cars or things like that. Now it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. We're not going to know exactly what they are doing elsewhere. And so we're going to have to be a bit more creative about this immense amount of data that we're going to need. And to hear a bit more about this topic, I'd like to introduce our first marketing industry leader, Prakash Chandrasekar.
Hi, good day everyone. My name is Prakash Chandrasekar. I work for Levi, Strauss & Co., based out of the Singapore office. I have been managing the regional loyalty and CRM programs for the last few years, and now I also look at the global direct-to-consumer analytics division with all the regions, including Europe and US as well. My top three trends for 2022, I guess my point of view is a bit different than most people would have. I feel that 2018 to 2019, there were these key trends that were bubbling up, but unfortunately, COVID hit us in 2020 and 2021, and I think because of which they got subdued and other new things like, video streaming and all that came up. I think 2022, like you see travel opening up, I feel in marketing as well, we will see a lot of the existing 2019, all the hard work done will probably replay itself in 2022, and I think we'll double down on it. So I think the first bit is first party data. I think there was a lot of emphasis in 2019 on first party data and how do we increase first party data. I think with more and more publishers and even the likes of Apple turning off third-party cookies, I think first-party data has sort of gained significance in 2020, and I think you will see in 2022 most companies will continue to double down on this investment because I think you can't keep on buying data, and with new GDPR rules, I think it's getting more and more tricky to actually play around this topic. So it's companies will try to invest more on first party data. Second one is on personalization. So I think, as you know, the competition is heating up and it's getting more and more trickier for brands to compete with each other on pricing and promotions only. I think because it's not a long-term game, pricing and promotions is fairly short-term. So you will see that using this first-party data, people will try to personalize communications. What did you buy before? What would you like to buy ahead? Of course, AI will play a huge component, but I think at the end of the day, how do you use the data that you have to actually get a step ahead of the consumer, right? I mean, consumer has so many choices, sometimes a bit too much. So how do you help the consumer decide what is the right product and offer for him is probably the key. And the third one is around purely around analytics. I think there are a lot of these platforms. There are multiple platforms that we have. We have e-commerce, we have app, we have omni-channel features, we have retail, and so on. I think brands are actually at the moment really confused as to how do you work across these different channels and how do you attribute success. So I think the last around analytics, I think the brands who will do really well will actually the ones who will actually really figure out how to break the analytics silos and actually bring all the attribution together. So I would say these are my top three trends which marketers need to pay attention in 2022. Thank you.
Okay, great. Now let's hear trends from Nicholas Kontopoulos at Adobe.
Hey there, my name's Nicholas Kontopoulos, and I've got the great pleasure of heading up the Adobe DX APAC growth marketing strategy. Now, I'm going to share with you my 3 top trends for marketers in 2022. The first one I'm going to kick off with is creating brand purpose and brand utility. Those that have heard me speak know that this is a topic I'm passionate about. I believe brand purpose is absolutely critical for all businesses because at the end of the day, it is the why and the meaning behind your brand's existence. It is the potential and its possibilities that it offers all of those that are going to be engaging with that brand. But let's be honest, brand purpose is not a mission to save the world. It's an aspirational reason for being, which inspires and provides a call to action for your customers, employees, and partners. Brand utility is its counterpart, and that is how you apply your purpose. It's the offering and how you deliver value by serving your customers. So that's top trend number 1. Number 2, experience-driven commerce. This is also a key area of focus for all those progressive marketers out there. They're looking at how they can drive experience-driven commerce by integrating both the digital and physical worlds and moving away from a transactional e-commerce experience into an integrated commerce experience that brings all of the key touch points together and provides an endless, seamless experience for your customers and prospects. And this is for both B2B, B2C, and D2C brands. So it's not just for B2C brands or consumer brands, it's also something we're seeing becoming important for B2B brands. Finally, the third trend I'm seeing being absolutely critical is becoming the signal in the noise. Each and every day, we're overwhelmed by content. The internet's flooded with content, and it's becoming quite overwhelming for us in terms of being able to make our way through all that content. So marketers will really need to consider how they can create content that cuts through that noise and provides a real clear utility. If I link back to the brand utility topic I mentioned earlier, we need to be able to create content that informs our customers, helps them make decisions that they can feel confident in when it comes to picking a brand they want to work with. So yeah, really looking at how you can become that signal and noise will be quite a critical focus point for marketers. So those are my top 3 trends for marketers in 2022.
All right, great. Now let's move on to our next section here, which is about Google. Google specifically about how it impacts marketing and also the changes at Google that we all need to pay attention to make sure that we are keeping up with the latest with the company that drives, let's face it, a lot of our marketing spend and a lot of our marketing results. Okay, the first one from Google is Google will continue cracking down on link spam. Now, this is about the Google update to their algorithm. So Google uses an algorithm for their search engine in order to determine which site comes on top. And what they do every now and then is they have a look to see, which sites are coming up on top and which are not very good sites. And they will figure out what they're doing to get up on top, even though they're not a very good site. And then they will change the algorithm to stop them from getting up on top. This time, it's about what they call link spam. And they had an update, which they began rolling out in the second half of last year. And what this update does, and now will be, sort of be rolled out globally by now. But what this update does is it intends to prevent sites from getting higher rankings on Google through several techniques they've identified. One of them called mutual backlinking, which I think a lot of B2B sites do, where they call around to all their friends and say, you link to us, I'll link to you. Another technique called link wheels, where they will put together small useless sites. Companies will do small useless sites consisting only of links back to their main site and try and increase their visibility on Google search engine through these useless sites. And the other technique they're working on is what's called the closed link network. And this is where a business will pay a sort of an owner of a network of sites to link back to their site from all sorts of different properties. But really the links are not of much value, and maybe the content is quite poor as well. So what Google has said is that, in short, if any brand and company is participating in any of these practices, they should stop. They should stop. They put the algorithm in. They will search and identify and find these link wheels and these link networks and shut them down. And what they're saying is that you will, at the very least, you'll be wasting your money by investing in these SEO techniques. But at worst, you could be penalized by Google. Your site could be put on what they call the naughty list. And what happens then is your search rankings plummet across your whole domain, and it becomes very hard to get out of that Google jail and to get back into Google's good books, so that you're appearing in your links are appearing in the search results as they should. So Google will continue cracking down, and the best practice we recommend is to use the verifiable SEO techniques, such as writing interesting and absorbing content for your audience. Now, the other trend I have from Google is not at all about, there's no downside here to brands. In fact, it's quite a big upside here. And it's what is called PPC, or pay per click automation. And this refers to the Google Ads product, right? Where we put our little text ads that go up in search, or now, of course, they can be, pictures and videos and all sorts of other things, and shopping ads and stuff like that. But what they're doing, right, is Google has invested a lot into their automation. And what the analysts say is that the automation market is growing by up to 83.2%. That's a pretty accurate number there. And this is from Statista Research. They went and found out, how big is the pay-per-click automation market going to be, and it's growing up to 83% this year. Now, what pay-per-click PPC automation allows marketers to benefit from is Google's own investment in machine learning. Okay, so Google has invested a lot in machine learning to make it easier to manage your ad campaigns. And when you use Google's machine learning algorithms to manage your campaigns, your pay-per-click ads are always optimized. Okay, so they find out the best collection of words, the best link to on your site, the best timing to run your ads, the best audience to show it through. All this stuff is done by the Google machine learning algorithms. And this saves you and marketers and brands from having to spend valuable time and resources on managing their campaigns. Okay, so in short, the Google for Marketing, they're going to crack down on link spam. So get your SEO in order in 2022, and really start to look at using the Google provided automation, okay, for your PPC ads to save yourself time and indeed money. Okay, now let's hear some different trends. Let's hear what Ketan Samani from China Development Financial Holdings has for his 3 trends for 2022. 2022?
Okay, hi everybody. My name is Ketan Samani. I work in Taiwan for China Development Financial Holdings, and I am a Group Chief Digital Officer. It is important to us to make a success of digital to keep an eye on top trends in the market, and more importantly for our customers. In 2022, there are three areas that we will be focused on, and I hope that is of use to you too. Brand building and brand positioning, where a brand in pandemic has done really well for its staff as well as its customers. It served them really well. How do you do marketing and positioning of ESG? And in pandemic, how you took care of customers' needs is very, very important. The second most important thing is for customers is engagement. Here, contextual marketing is going to be important. How do you address customer needs through multiple mediums, including video marketing, is going to be very important, where customers get the feel of the value proposition that you are offering for their specific needs. Behavior-driven marketing as part of the engagement is also important, using big data and be more targeted and more specific. Customers don't have much time, so the marketing has to be very succinct and addressing the direct need for the customer at that time. And the third mega trend that we think it's kind of very important is the value exchange. I think in future, given that multiple media, multiple channels are amplifying and looking for an attention from a customer simultaneously, value exchange and creating loyalty and a consistent customer service measured in the right way is going to give a loyalty to the marketeer. So these are the three major trends in 2022 to look out for from a marketing perspective. Thank you.
Okay, great. Next up, we have Vinay Dixit from Abbott with his top 3 trends for marketers in 2022.
I'm Vinay Dixit, Regional Business Director at Abbott Rapid Diagnostics, looking after COVID business in Asia Pacific. The world of marketing has always been dynamic, but the pace of change that we are seeing now is unprecedented. There are several such trends which we have to look at as marketers, but there are 3 which particularly stand out to me in 2022. The first, in my opinion, is video across all platforms. And this goes not only to the traditional social media platforms like Facebook, etc., where video has always been quite strong, but even in professional networks like LinkedIn, where I believe that the role of video will become increasingly important as we go forward. The second area where I think marketers will have to pay special importance is this whole area of social commerce. Aggregation opportunities, the increasing importance of ratings and reviews, and ensuring that we work out bulk opportunities with customers in some way, shape or form will significantly enhance the return on our marketing dollars. The third area, which is already changing quite rapidly, is that of privacy. And with Apple making the changes to its platform, marketers will have to really find new ways of identifying and reaching the consumers in the appropriate phase in the decision journey. It is not going to be they are not going to be able to rely on the cookies of the yesteryears and such tracking across apps by certain companies, but they'll have to really pinpoint where the consumer is in the stage of decision journey and target them with appropriate communication and offers that can enable them to make a sale. And those are my top trends which marketers need to pay attention to in 2022. Thank you.
All right, great. Well, I'm glad that he included social commerce there because that is next on our trends list. So for those who are wondering what exactly is this social commerce thing, well, basically at its most basic level, it's taking the social media platforms we all love and then seeing how best they can be used to promote sales of brand products and services. Now, as we will see, it is not just a matter of taking our existing marketing materials and then posting them on Facebook and hoping for the best. There is a lot more to it than that. But first off, let's talk about the potential of using social media for e-commerce. So the trend, as you might expect, is that social e-commerce is going to grow. Accenture, the consultancy, estimates that sales made through social media in 2022 will be around $500 billion globally, okay? And they expect that to grow around 25% over the year to eventually $600 billion next year, and continue on that path so that by 2025, consumers will be spending over $1 trillion globally via social media. Now that sounds like a lot, but actually it is only around 17% of the global e-commerce spend. So it still has room to grow after that. So let's just say that social media is big now for sales, $500 billion globally, or at any rate will be so this year. And it's expected to keep growing for the considerable, in the future. Now, additionally, social commerce will be increasingly spent on smaller and medium-sized businesses. Okay, so you probably see this quite a lot in your own social media. A lot of small businesses there advertising their products and services. They don't look a whole lot different from big brands, right? They sort of kind of share the same space. And so I think the result of this is going to be that consumers are going to be increasingly unaware of whether they're buying from the big brand or the small brand or whoever. They're buying the product or the service that they see on social media. And everyone kind of has equal footing, okay? So I think what brand marketers, especially the big ones, and this includes both B2C and B2B, should be researching their category, having a look at how social media is used now within their category, and regularly, sort of do a bit of a checkup and change things around to make sure that you are keeping up, okay? Because the thing is, all the other smaller companies or other people in your category, you're all on the same footing on the social media platforms. And so you've got to do your homework and your investments in order to keep up and make sure you don't miss out on this wonderful opportunity of selling via social media. Now, I mentioned earlier, social commerce is not just about advertising social media. Now, the next trend, this is still about social commerce, but it is about another way that brands can get on these social media platforms, through influencers. Influencer, if you're unaware of the thing, I'm sure most people have heard of it now, but it's somebody on social media who has gained a large following, and brands pay them basically to advertise their product, but in a more authentic way than an ad. Now, this method of using these social media influencers has been around for some time. But the trend now is for marketers to use influencers with a smaller audience, to not go for those big influencers with millions of people following them, but instead for these micro influencers, which have between 1,000 and 100,000 followers, and even these new ones called nano influencers, which have maybe even under 1,000 followers. But these will be somebody who's very specialized, their influence will be very strong, and the followers themselves will be very influential themselves. Probably people with purchasing ability, one might think. So one of our marketing experts will talk about why marketers are going this way in the moment. But just for now, I would say that brands should keep up with this rise of nano and micro influencer trend by finding more about the ones that are in their category, that influence people in their category, and seeing what they can do to use them to reach their audiences. Okay, so it's going to take a bit of legwork. You got to find the influencers in your category, especially these nano influencers. It's going to be hard. But when you find the people who are, the ones who are the movers and the shakers in your brand category, you can get a lot bigger bang for the buck out of reaching them and reaching your audience through them than you can with the very, very large influencers. But I'll leave that for one of our marketing experts in a moment. Okay, next and finally for our social commerce bit, we have selling products live. Yes, so the area of selling products live, or it's also known as live commerce or live video commerce. Now, this is already huge in China, and you've probably seen some videos of this or whatever, where they show people selling these various products through these Alibaba and through the Singles Day and all this other kind of stuff where they actually go online and they're selling stuff live to an audience. And it's huge. It's huge in China. It's estimated to be a $500 billion business in 2022, but it is coming to other markets. The other bit of data I could find is that in the U.S. we saw a sort of $11 billion in sales. And it should reach, by estimates, to over $25 billion in 2025, according to a company called CoreSight Research. Now, while this live commerce might sound a bit foreign or a bit difficult or maybe even a bit off-brand for many of our listeners, marketers are encouraged to research how it is being used in their category to make sure that they aren't being left behind. So it might not be something that you feel is necessarily appropriate for your brand. But what you can do is have a look in the, and see how other people are doing it and see whether you can get some ideas. Sign up for some of these live commerce selling sessions. They're entertaining, if nothing else, for sure. And make sure that you are on top of the trend to make sure there isn't some opportunity for your brand with live commerce. Okay, well, now let's move on. Let's hear about social selling from a couple of our marketing experts, as they tell us the trends that they think marketers should pay attention to in 2022.
Hello, my name is Olivia Plotnick. I'm the founder of Shanghai-based social media marketing agency Why Social, which is why I'm here to share with you 3 trends marketers in China need to be paying attention to in 2022. First, let's talk about consumption habits, because there's an interesting duality emerging. On one hand, we have a shift towards rational consumerism impacted by the post-pandemic economy, as well as government-backed initiatives like Common Prosperity, which is in effect encouraging the equalization of wealth distribution, cracking down on things like excessiveness. Consumers are less concerned about the brand and the logo and more price sensitive. Brands such as Uniqlo and Muji are selling well, and platforms like group buying app Pinduoduo and Xianyu, otherwise known as Idle Fish, a used goods marketplace, have grown in popularity. The word lower price replacement, Pingti, was a social media buzzword in 2021. And on the other hand, we have many millennial and Gen Z consumers who view consumption as a way to define themselves. They're incredibly brand savvy and have a unique, defined taste illustrated through the brands and products they purchase. Their decisions are not based solely on the brand name or even the brand origin, as their parents' or grandparents' generation may have been, but rather they have a finger on the pulse of fashion and lifestyle trends thanks to influencers and celebrities. They'll snatch up brand and influencer collaboration collections, as well as exclusive or limited edition products. Think Yeezy sports shoes and blind box phenomenon Pop Mart. These 2 groups will require a more careful and nuanced approach from marketers than ever before in this market, making platforms, influencer selection, price point, and product quality imperative to get right. The second is video, and I know marketers have been talking about video for years, but I still see many brands who continue to invest in WeChat articles when average read rates have been falling dramatically for years. Video has become the most powerful tool to communicate and convert. Now, with the rise of short video apps like Douyin or TikTok and the rise of video functionality on WeChat, with WeChat channels and live streaming on WeChat, this is where brands should be putting their money. And that brings me nicely into the final trend I want to touch upon, which is live streaming. And I hope you know by now just how big of a deal live streaming e-commerce is in China and now the rest of the world. But let's talk about how this is evolving in China, because for the past several years, live streaming has been primarily dominated by celebrity-like hosts. We have 2 of the most recognizable names, Austin Lee and Via. And Via has gotten into hot water lately with the controversy involving L'Oreal and an alleged tax evasion which required her to take down her accounts. The moral of this story is that big hosts are becoming a risk for brands. And not only that, but they're incredibly expensive. So more and more brands are beginning to develop their own in-house live streamers, tapping into brand founders and salespeople. Selling directly to consumers this way allows them to control their content, content and not have to deal with expensive and potentially risky engagements. Which is why I want to tack on a bonus trend here and quickly mention virtual idols. Expect to see more and more brands working with virtual idols, even for live streaming. Think about it. A virtual idol can be available 24/7, not a risk of tax evasion, and content can be easily controlled by the brand. Thanks for sticking around and listening to my top trend for marketers in China for 2022.
Okay, now let's switch over to Liz Clark-Martinez, who is from McCann.
Hi, my name is Liz Clark-Martinez and I'm the Head of Strategy and Planning at McCann Health in Singapore. In times of rapid change and uncertainty in marketing, there can be a tendency to stick with what you know. But actually, the shifts we've seen over the last couple of years and emerging trends can provide a distinct window of opportunity. Whatever your industry, keep looking outside it to wider trends and shifts, particularly in culture, as this affects many of us, likely including your customers, and it also enables you to elevate your brand and your marketing. The three most important marketing trends for 2022 I'd like to focus on, firstly, is consistent storytelling. And although storytelling is not new, there are a plethora of channels and formats that this can be done on, and it really must be done. Whether it's through long-form or short-form video, images and captions on Instagram, or upcoming elements like vlogging. The trick is to get your brand story right first in order to create content that tells that story, whatever the length and whatever the format, so that you make best use of your channel mix for brand building and performance marketing. And that also includes offline channels too. Secondly, the increase in influencer marketing. But not only that, the rise of micro and nano influencers, and that's due to their authenticity and relatability that's generated greater engagement rates, and also let's not forget their affordability. Partly linked to this, I think we'll see much more collaboration and partnership with influencers rather than one-off or short-term sponsorship or content. My third important marketing trend is around e-commerce and the continuity of it not being a completely separate entity or platform at the end of the funnel journey or experience you're trying to create. It's becoming more and more embedded into the marketing mix and the whole experience, whether that's through increasing social e-commerce, increased use of voice assistants, or the emerging trend of live video commerce. Of course, this doesn't mean that you sell in every piece of marketing. Coming back to my first trend of storytelling, you don't ask someone to marry you on a first date. Don't forget to plan for digital as well as mental and physical availability. And also the all-important delivery is still part of the brand experience, and it's an opportunity to delight through creativity. Those are my top trends which marketers need to pay attention to in 2022.
Okay, great. All right, moving on to our next trend category here. We have chat for customer experience. Now, Salesforce reports that 78% of consumers use messaging for customer support. Yet only 63% of customer service teams are prepared to respond. And so the trend here is that messaging as a customer service channel is growing. And brands need to pay more attention to it because customer satisfaction, according to the same report, increases by up to 96% when messaging is implemented. I think we see this ourselves, right? It's, you want to get a hold of a brand, or you have an issue, something comes up, you have a question. Our natural way to communicate with our peers and colleagues and loved ones is through messaging. So why not a brand, right? So for just about any customer support, brands need to implement and promote. They need to let people know about it, that they have a messaging-based customer service channel. Now, to expand on this, we have the next trend. This is enhanced customer experience, or maybe what I might even call it, chatbots. Okay, that's that. Customer experience will be enhanced by these chatbots. Now, as chatbots started off as a bit of a gimmick a few years ago, they're now becoming essential to customer service programs in 2022. Chatbots have become the first line of customer service at many organizations, both solving simple customer inquiries through like some sort of, kind of like through a menuing system, right? Where they go in and you they can categorize your initial inquiry and get you to hit, 1 if it has to do with a particular product, 2 if it's a service, etc. But it can also help categorize more complex questions and let customer service agents know in advance what customers are asking about. So as you go in, your initial your initial engagement with the brand would be through a chatbot, and this chatbot may just offer basic solutions, but at the same time, it can help with the whole customer experience, because when you eventually do get to an actual human operator at the end of your messaging, of course, they will already know what you are talking about. And so again, that will probably lead into the figure we saw before, that customer satisfaction increases when messaging is implemented. So brands need to both look at growing messaging as their customer service channel and looking at so at least fronting that messaging with chatbots. It gets a bit difficult down the line. You can't solve every problem with the chatbot, but you can probably solve a large percentage of your initial queries with a chatbot. And so we encourage marketers to, in 2022, if they haven't yet already, to have a look at the messaging and chatbot technologies to help with the customer experience. Okay, let's hear from a couple more of our esteemed marketing experts on what they think marketers should be paying attention to in 2022.
Hi everyone, I'm Agnisha Ghosh, Asia Integrated Marketing Lead for 3M and Global Digital Lead for She Loves Data. We are already in month 2 of 2022 and digital marketing is just getting bigger and better. Metaverse, NFTs, cryptocurrencies are buzzwords. However, my top 3 trends are focused on execution excellence. Practical things which we as marketers can do to drive the change and make a difference for our businesses. First-party data. With Google phasing out third-party cookies soon, it's the best time to start owning your audience. This year will be very critical for data and privacy. Thus, you need to ensure that all your marketing campaigns have a primarily goal of building first-party data. This will play a vital role in creating segmented and personalized content for your customers. Second, social commerce. Social media, and especially apps like TikTok and Instagram, are now helping brands to shorten the time from awareness to conversion. Instagram shopping, live streaming are some great examples of how the social commerce scene has evolved. Using live videos to showcase products, do live demos, answer customer questions, and of course drive purchase is the in thing now. This is a critical solution today in the hybrid world, which is bringing the product and the in-store experience to the customer's screen. Third, always-on influencer marketing. Moving away from ad hoc, one-off content pieces or collaborations with an influencer, brands are now looking at a long-term sustained association. This will help in building authentic connection with customers who will now see influencers use and associate the brand for a longer duration. The move from transactional to sustained and emotional will be a game changer for the influencer marketing industry. First-party data, social commerce, and always-on influencer marketing are my top trends which marketers need to pay attention in 2022. Thank you.
Okay, and now let's hear from Stephanie Dechamps at Dell Boomi.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Dechamps. I'm the APJ marketing head at Boomi. So here are my top 3 digital trends in B2B marketing for 2022. First trend, webinar is moving back to on-demand as part as an always-on for self-education. After years of promises, digital has finally got recognized as the prime part of the B2B marketing mix. Prospects are now eager to complete almost the entire customer journey online. Now those webinars, ebook, white paper, demo, video, they all move in to build that re-engagement journey, which is mainly digital. The asset will have to be short and in a serial format, and the user journey has to be built according to the persona. Second trend. Digital is algorithm-driven. Conversion rate is the end goal, so give to your audience what you promise. Make content easy to find. It is still all about the user experience on digital platforms, and this is what the algorithm optimizes on. It's super important, especially with a shrinking pool of third-party data. You have to treat your first-party data like gold. Give them a smooth and hyper-personalized experience as much as possible. Third trend. If you are not yet leveraging AI and machine learning, then it's time to start now. They will take off the burden of your repetitive task. The CRM, marketing automation, DSP, data management, data analytics tools, they all have integrated AI function. If you are using AI and machine learning, then it's time to look back at 2 years of 100% visual activities and add on it the 2 years of old-fashioned marketing data, and now start testing a new hybrid marketing model. So those are my top trends for B2B marketer and to which they should pay attention to in 2022. Thank you.
Okay, so as Stephanie said, marketers need to get started with AI, and that is our last section of trends for our 2022 report, Artificial Intelligence AI. The first trend in this category is email optimization through AI. And look, AI has been an add-on for many email marketing systems for a few years now. But our recommendation is that marketers make it a core part of how they deliver emails to customers. AI can help marketers by reviewing email subject lines and content, analyzing open times and click rates, which will help increase engagement. And AI can also look at the whole marketing workflow, from email to purchase or to even post-purchase, which will help brands get better results from their email campaigns. Now, nearly every email marketing system provider offers AI as part of their solution. And so we encourage marketers to take a little closer look at what's available and see how they might use these different things, these, subject line analysis, open times, click rate, seeing what time people open and click, what the best time to send, all these different things that are available, and see how they might leverage those to improve their email marketing performance. Next we have in AI, we have the growth of natural language processing. And now this is an AI, artificial intelligence technique, where an algorithm can read a block of text. So the computer reads your text. It can categorize that text and provide summaries. This can be useful for marketers seeking to organize a large collection of marketing materials. Natural language processing can deal with text and images as well and help you categorize and sort them. Or you can also use it for customer feedback. And this will help you identify the main issues, the core issues that customers are having, and also discover trends for future marketing efforts. So if people start talking more about one aspect of your product or service more in their customer service inquiries, you can use NLP to go through all that and find out what it is. What exactly are they talking about all the time? And that can help you with your marketing campaigns. Here we have Statista. In their research predicts that the NLP market will grow 14 times by 2025. And look, anything that's about to grow 14 times makes me think that we're still in the early days of this technology. But really, there's no better time to get started than now. Have a look. Look to see in what ways NLP might help you to organize and categorize all of that material, either your existing marketing materials or your customer feedback, so that you might improve your marketing efficiency. Okay, that's the end of our trends, and there are many more in the report. I'll point that out later. We have a report that is available for download, and there are many more trends to find in there. But for the final word today, let's hear from Joyce Lee at VMware about her top trends for 2022.
Hello, everyone. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all wherever you are. This is Joyce Lee, Marketing Director, Asia Pacific and Japan in VMware. Here's hoping that your 2022 has kicked off to a roaring start and you and your loved ones are safe and healthy. So here are my top 3 trends for 2022. Firstly, the increase in taking advantage of machine learning and AI. As privacy restrictions and regulations get even tighter, it is harder for marketeers to establish user identity without the help of third-party cookies. With the reliance of machine learning and AI, marketeers could be more effective to help with gathering, organizing, and analyzing data at every step of the customer journey. In addition, B2B marketeers will be able to learn more about their customers and create more personalized messagings and offerings. Number 2, hybrid experiences. While we're rejoicing in terms of restrictions are being lifted slowly globally, we still won't be reverting to the way things were before. As such, hybrid experiences, i.e. a mix of both physical and digital events, will be a norm. This will allow room for us, as marketeers, for creativity and fresh ideas to engage with customers and drive audience participation. There is an increased need for relevant personalization through content, putting human and customer needs at the forefront when designing any of these experiences. And finally, digital jobs are on the rise. To the points above, there is a gap between the number of businesses that are looking for digital marketing skills and what's in the market. Buckle up your skills, especially in social media marketing, e-commerce, paid search strategy, and digital analytics, as these are what companies are looking to invest in. And those are my top trends which marketers need to pay attention to in 2022. Thank you.
Well, and on that encouraging word that digital jobs are on the rise, so all good for anyone who's investigating these trends in technology. We have better opportunities at employment in the future. What I'd like to say as we wrap this up is if you would like to read many, many more trends on our report, you can download it from that link that you see there or use that QR code on your screen. And I'd like to thank you for sticking with us through this presentation, through our highlights of our trends. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to all the contributors which made this webinar possible. Thanks a lot for giving us your top 3 trends. Really interesting to hear all the perspectives from many different marketers. Now, other items which you may find interesting, we have the APAC Digital Digest and the Social Media Buzz Reports. And they're available at that link there. You see that's resources free reports. So these reports are available for free at that link. And you can always stay up to date with trends, best practices, and real life case studies throughout the year at the ClickInsights.Asia/blog website. Finally, for those seeking more, I just want to get in a final plug here. We at ClickInsights specialize in digital marketing training covering the whole spectrum from basic to advanced level with all sorts of topics, content marketing, analytics, which is my specialty, digital marketing, ROI, e-commerce, social media, customer experience, strategy and planning, and many, many more. If you are interested in any of these topics and getting some customized training at your organization, you can drop us an email. teamsg@clickacademyasia.com. So we're ClickInsights, but our training arm is clickacademyasia.com. And you can also join our community on both LinkedIn, there, Facebook, and you can use those usernames there. So yeah, again, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you found that useful, and we should be doing this again soon. So do keep subscribed and interested in have a look at our blog, and we will let you know when the next report is out. Have a great day.